Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Great Hall here at City Hall, historic city of Quincy. And here we're talking today a little bit about one of our high schools, a high school mascot known as Mr. Yakoo. And by way of a little history, Mr. Yakoo was established as the mascot way back in 1957-58, when then Dr. Alan Yacubian, player on the football team of Armenian descent, a great, actually, American immigrant story as well, but we'll save that for another time. He became the model for what became the Mr. Yakoo at North Quincy High School, then became the mascot for the sports teams in the school. My parents went to North. They preceded the mascot. I attended North and got out in 1981. My siblings went to North. My 3 kids went to North. And I think anyone that went through North always looked at that symbol as one of great pride, representing a strong spirit, a strong work ethic, and one of excellence. So I think that over the years it has been really a symbol of pride for the school. But recognizing over time things change, and there's different opinions on things and how people can be offended. I think it was fair that Dr. Yacubian, we had some chats going back, gosh, I don't know, Doc, a couple of years at least, about how we should proceed with Mr. Yakoo. Never thinking that we would vacate Mr. Yakoo, but how could we change that? A couple of words on Dr. Yacubian, longtime dentist in our city. After attended North, he went on to ENC and Tufts Dental School, I believe. He has been an incredible supporter. You talk about charity. I mean, the guy just emits charity and warmth, and he's been so supportive of both high schools, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships and awards, supporting as a booster the sports teams of both schools. Just an incredible embodiment of what the city is about in the end. So I know I'd like to have Dr. Yacubian come up and say a few words, and then have Dr. Yacubian join me in unveiling the new mascot.
Yakoo is very special to me. Yakoo is now 63 years old, and in the 63 years has done nothing to shame North Quincy High School or anything to do with the city of Quincy. But like everything, things change and it's time to do something. My friend who did the actual drawing wanted to move start changing things 6 years ago. And so we started putting cartoons in the Quincy Sun to let people see that Yakoo could be different. And he's been after me that it would be good to change it, to do it. And I dragged my feet, and thanks to Mayor Koch, he approached me and we talked. And we've come up with something that I think is going to be very, very good. And I'm very happy that it's being done. And not necessarily that it's going to be a continuation of Yakoo, but it is good. You know, why is it when tradition is there, why does it have to be bad? Why do we have to get rid of it? And so we're here, and thanks to the mayor, I hope you like it, and I hope everybody likes it.
Doctor, can you move that behind here?
You got it. We talked about what can we do with Mr. Yakoo, and Dr. Yacubian and his artists come up with what's viewed as a patriot. The other high school, Quincy High School, he would say the other high school, both high schools to the mayor, is the president's. North Quincy High School now will be represented by what is perceived as a patriot. Now, in showing the principal at North Quincy High School the other day to get his impression, who's also a graduate of North, he likes the image very much, and I think he'll take this now and speak to his staff and perhaps the student leaders at North and come up with a permanent name. Maybe it's the Patriots, maybe they keep the Raiders, who knows what it'll be, but it's certainly historic, speaks to our city. I think it takes anything that may have been offensive or perceived as offensive gone. We are historic Quincy, and I think this speaks to our history as well. Keeps the same image. If you turn the sideways, you'll see where the image came from. He was the model for Mr. Yakoo. That hasn't changed, and I think that's the beauty of this. The essence of the mascot stays for the people that have graduated from North. They take pride in it, and as good Dr. Yacubian said, it's evolved. It's changed in its message, its outfit, but that same, if you look at that face, that same perseverance in that face is there. So,
when the original Yakoo was drawn, my friend did a lot of deliberation over what he was going to draw. So it was not a haphazard cartoon that he wrote, and it lasted 63 years, and it's done very well.
School committee does not have to weigh in. It came to the school committee's attention by some folks that were concerned that it was offensive. Generally speaking, the school committee does not vote on mascots. The school community adopts their own mascots. I think that will really be up to the school. The question was, how long will it take to make this change with uniforms and all? I think that'll be up to the school. And, you know, as the Yakoo did before, maybe the coat comes off, maybe the football goes under the hand, could be a jersey on them. The whole image could change a little bit based on what the use of the school would be. And I think that's a cool thing. The question is this the mascot officially today? Mr. Yakoo is the mascot, and he continues to be the mascot. He's got a new outfit on. Neither has to sign off on it. The school principal has to sign off on it in the end. We've got schools all across the city that have adopted mascots that was never a vote of the city council or the school committee. It's the school community, really. In fact, that's how this initiated. It was the school body and principal at the time that adopted this.
A little history on, it was the student council that approached my friend because there were too many Red Raiders, Watertown, Melrose, all the school, and they wanted to make North Quincy unique. And he drew a unique, when you saw Yakoo, I don't care where you were, you knew that was North Quincy High School. And that was something that was very, made us proud. And he evolved to the point where they started voting for Mr. and Mrs. Yakoo during the year. Things improved with it, that the kids adapted to it and adopted it. And I'm hoping that this is going to be the same thing now, moving on.
Well, this issue has come up a number of times. I know in the 90s, actually, the Department of Justice came in. Was because of some complaints, and they felt they were convinced that it was not something offensive or against anybody's rights. But since that time, it seems every few years it comes up, people raise it. Generations change, and you know, there's a different feeling today. And I guess if one steps back, if you had nothing to do with North Quincy High, didn't go there, didn't know much about the real Yakoo, and didn't know much about the tradition there, you might consider some of it the way it looked, perhaps some of it what may have been offensive to somebody. So rather than continue to fight that fight, the good doctor said, let's change him. Times change. He's evolved. Let's change him so that nobody thinks he's offensive, and people can once again consider it a pride, a token of pride, I guess, in the mascot for the school.
We use the original design and to change it over, but this drawing doesn't have, Yakoo is going to be carrying a bell, and on the bell is going to be 1933. You're going to have to guess what 1933 was all about, but he stayed up when he heard what had changed, because he was very happy, and Mr. Bosworth would know. My friend wanted to change it 6 years ago, and when he heard what was there, he spent the entire night wide awake trying to figure out what he should have in his hand beside a roll of, like a diploma, and he came up with the bell. 1933 is when they opened North Quincy High. Good for you. You've been doing your homework.
It says 1925 on the stone.
Oh, that's the junior high.
Okay, thank you.
The junior high. That what they did. The citizens.
Junior high, and then it became 7 to 12 in 1933.
And 33.
Correct.
And with the people in the north end of the city resented Quincy High School getting everything, and so they wanted a high school of their own because it had grown so much in in the North Quincy area. So as a result, they needed a new school, so they had the wing on.
Any other questions?
I'm sorry, that's my phone.
I'm sure there were other iterations, but this was the one that everyone seemed to embrace.
Yeah, there was one pirate, and there was one other that somebody had come up with, and it just didn't fit the bill. And then one of the other ideas that we never drew anything was put a firefighter, and is one thing, but because they've been very the fire department's been very supportive of Little Yakoo.
I'd just like to add, I was able to share this image with some folks, and as I mentioned, the principal at North Quincy High. I also shared it with Ferris Gray, who's from the Massachusetts tribe, which is the tribe that was here in Quincy for hundreds of years. Massachusetts is named for. There's some sacred places in Quincy relating to that, and he really loves the new mascot, the new Yakoo. So we're pleased about that.
Thank you, Mark.
He doesn't have that mean look, but otherwise it looks like.